Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of our podcast. I am your host, Ichino Ani, and I am so excited to learn with you today. Today is Monday, July 20th, 2026. We have a super interesting paper to talk about from the archive today. It is all about the magic of machine learning. The title is Cluster-Aware Matching via Laplacian Optimal Transport, and the core is tech/schoolin/sloxf.org/abs/260 7.16178v1. It is quite a long title, but do not worry, we are going to break it down together like a fun puzzle. So, what exactly is the big problem this paper is trying to solve? Imagine you have two giant piles of Lego bricks scattered on the floor, and you want to match the pieces from one pile to the other. But these are not just random bricks. They actually form little groups or clusters like a small Lego car or a tiny tree. In the world of computer science, we call these groups point clouds. Usually, computer programs try to match every single tiny point exactly from one cloud to the other, which is super hard and often makes mistakes. Or they try to group the pieces first in each pile all by themselves, and then match the groups. We call this two-stage approach independent clustering. But independent clustering can be very messy. It is like asking two different kindergartners to sort the same types of toys. They will probably sort them in completely different ways. Because clustering algorithms can be very unstable, they end up making inconsistent groups across the two sets of data. When the groups do not match, the final alignment is completely ruined. This paper solves the big problem by doing the matching and the grouping at the exact same time. To fix this, the brilliant researchers created a method called Laplacian Optimal Transport, or LapOT for short. Traditional methods like standard optimal transport just look at the cost of moving one point to another to find the cheapest matching plan. Standard optimal transport is famous for a concept called the Sinkhorn algorithm. The Sinkhorn algorithm is like a super fast calculator that finds the cheapest way to transport goods from factories to stores. And it only cares about the shipping cost. It does not care if all the electronics are shipped to the same connected region. LapOT adds a special mathematical rule, called a Laplacian regularization term. This rule tells the computer, hey, if 2 points are close friends in the first pile, they should be matched to close friends in the second pile. They build a similarity graph for each set of points. Think of a similarity graph where the drawing is string between kids in a classroom who like the same games. The stronger the strong, the more likely they are in the same friend group, or cluster. When the algorithm tries to match the two class strings, it uses these friendship strings to guide its choices. If two kids in class A are best friends, the system makes sure they will match to kids in class B, who are also best friends. This encourages the final matching plan to respect the natural cluster structure of both the tasets. And instead of messing up by clustering independently, the algorithm uses a clever trick to find simultaneous clustering. It looks at the cluster-aware matching information to help make the partitions perfectly consistent across both groups of data. By treating matching and clustering as coupled problems, we can leverage the shared structure of the point clouds. This overcomes all the limitations of independent clustering and gives us much more stable, interpretable results. Let us dive a little deeper into the thesis content. The researchers did not just stop at creating the formula, they proved it works with deep mathematical theory. They showed that if the graphs have distinct connected components, the optimal matching plan will naturally become block constant. That means it perfectly groups the regions together in a beautiful grid. Even when the graphs are fully connected, the algorithm suppresses noisy, jumpy matches and focuses on the broad, smooth sector structures. For new rules, and for super huge datasets, the researchers even introduced a low-rank extension of their method by using an optimization technique called Dijkstra algorithm. They forced the matching matrix to only capture the most important cluster relationships. This low-rank trick makes the computer run much faster by only focusing on the big picture clusters instead of every single tiny detail. It is like reading the chapter summaries of a big book instead of reading every single word. You still understand the whole story perfectly. Here you might be wondering, how does this amazing technology help us in our everyday lives? I have 3 specific application examples to share with you based on the concepts in this paper. First, let us think about video games, movie animation, and robotics. Animators and engineers constantly use 3D models of characters, like humans or animals. Sometimes they need to align a basic skeleton to a complex 3D shape, or align a scanned object from a camera with a digital model. In the paper, they talk about solving the orthogonal probabilistic problem to estimate the underlying rigid transformation. This sounds like a big scary word, but it just means finding the best way to rotate and shift an object so it fits perfectly over another. Using this cluster-aware matching, the computer can easily understand that all the points on an arm belong together in one region, so it matches the whole arm region at once, rather than mixing up a point on a finger with a point on a toe. The researchers actually tested this on 3D shapes of humans, dogs, and dolphins. By matching whole functional parts, creating realistic animations and guiding robots becomes so much faster, cheaper, and more accurate. Second, this technology is an absolute game changer for doctors and biologists. Imagine taking brain scans from two different patients and trying to compare them to find a disease. The human brain has distinct regions or functional clusters, like the area for speech and the area for memory. Instead of comparing millions of unstructured cells randomly, this method aligns the functional regions directly. Another great biological example is single-cell molecular data. When scientists look at cells from a healthy tissue and a diseased tissue, the cells cluster into different types, like red blood cells or immune cells. Right? Using affine simultaneous clustering, the computer can match the immune cell cluster from patient A perfectly to the immune cell cluster from patient B. This means doctors can spot anomalies much more accurately, understand developmental trajectories, and help patients get the exact right treatments faster. Third, believe it or not, we can use this very same technology in the stock market. But researchers actually tested the method by comparing the top 50 companies in the United States with the top 50 companies in Japan. Instead of physical distances, they looked at the daily stock returns over 5 years and calculated the correlations. By looking at how the daily stock prices move together, the algorithm automatically grouped companies into economic sectors. It found that technology cluster, the finance cluster, and the healthcare cluster. Then, it matched the US tech cluster with the Japanese tech cluster, all on its own, based on their market volatility profiles. This helps financial analysts and regular investors understand global economic patterns. By seeing how different international markets align, people can make safer, more diversified choices for their retirement funds and everyday investments. It can literally help protect your savings by finding hidden patterns in the global economy. Is that not just completely amazing? Everyone are treating matching and clustering as a team, rather than completely separate tasks. We can solve some of the trickiest puzzles in science. We learned that using graph Laplacians helps our computers respect the natural friendships within our data. And we saw how this can improve video games, help doctors save lives, and even make the stock market easier to understand. I hope you had as much fun exploring this paper as I did. Thank you so much for joining me today on Ichino Ani. Keep asking great questions, keep learning, and I will see you all next time.